Hi everybody, this is Bobby with bobbystamps.blogspot.com. I participated this past weekend in a blog hop. It's Team Stampin. That's the team I'm on for Stampin' Up. And Tammy White is my upline. And once a month we do these blog hops. And so there's some very talented women that are on our team, and we make cards, then we post them, and at the bottom of our blog you can click on each of our names to go visit our blogs and see the cards we made. And this past weekend our theme was Easter, or sorry, spring. It was not Easter, but it was Easter this last Sunday, so I got it halfway right. But anyway, this is the card I made, and I absolutely love it. I love the little chick. That is one of my favorite stamps, and I love the colors that are in this card. I found it on Pinterest and just knew I had to try to duplicate it myself. And it's a messy card, but it's well worth it. I just love the little chick. I think it is so cute. So we're gonna get started, and I'll show you everything that we're gonna need. Our ink pads, we're going to use Early Espresso, and that is what we're gonna stamp the chicken. And then he's colored in Hello Honey. And then we use Island Indigo for the sky. And then we use a combination of Garden Green for the grass, and the ferns we use the Mossy Meadow for. You're going to need your some type of sponge. You could use the sponges and cut them like I did, or you can use the finger daubers. For this card, I like using the sponges. I'm going to lower this down just a little bit. The paper that we're going to use is, I believe this is Old Olive, the green. We're going to use Whisper White and Hello Honey, and then Island Indigo. And this is cut at 4¼ by 11, and it's scored at 5½. The Hello Honey is 4 by 5¼ and the Whisper White is 3¾ by 5. And then we're just going to use this to punch the sentiment out, so a scrap piece would work fine. Our stamp sets we're going to use is Butterfly Basics, and we're going to use the fern. We're going to use from the Celebration catalog Honeycomb Happiness, and of course we're going to use the chick. You're going to need the Daffodil Delight ribbon. And you're going to need the scalloped oval punch for the sentiment. And of course we're going to need Stampin' Dimensionals. And I think that's pretty much everything. Oh, yep, we're going to need, and I didn't get mine out, so I'll just get it out and show you guys on camera. Stampin' Up! Sells these great markers, and you get a variety. And I'm going to use this one, and I already know it is the Cajun Craze. And that is just for the little chick's beak and his feet. So we will get started on making our card. The first thing we're going to do is get the Early Espresso. And like I said, this one is what we're going to stamp the chicken. So we're going to do that first. Ink him up. And then you want to kind of put it over to the left, and not up too high, but you want to make enough room for the grass and the sky. So we're just going to stamp the chick. Clean my block off. Then the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead and close this up because we're done. And then we open up the Hello Honey. And you just want to take your sponge, and you want to go lightly to begin with. And then I kind of like pinch it up, kind of like that, into like a little ball. And then just start out lightly rubbing on the stomach, or wherever you want to start. And then see, you can do it lighter and then go back in. And see, and I like that, the way that that makes that color. Kind of does a little bit of shading. And it's okay right there that I got outside the edge, because we can cover that up with the fern, the grass. There's just so much going on in that card that it'll be easy to hide that. Then we're going to take the Cajun Craze, and we're just going to color in his beak and his feet really quick. And that's all that we'll use the marker for. That was that quick and that easy. So the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and start on the sky, and that's with the Island Indigo. And then again, you just get enough on your sponge, and you can kind of start, you know, eyeball where you want your grass and your sky to end and start. So we'll just start up here, and then you want to make sure that you go all the way around the chick, but you're not getting on the chick. And then you just keep rubbing it in. And then you just keep adding. You always want to start off light because you can always go in and make it darker, but we can't take away if we get too much and we don't like it. So just make sure that you're going all the way around the chick where the grass would be. And I like it because it has a little bit of white showing and this little bit of color variance because the sky is not one solid color of blue. We have different shades. For right now, I'm just going to leave that. And then I'm going to start with the garden green because I think the mossy meadow is a little bit darker. And that's the one I really want to do the fern with. So again, just dip and rub. And I got a little bit of yellow. I must have yellow on my finger, but we can easily cover that up. And then you just keep adding to it. And then we want to make sure we get as close to his body without getting on him that we possibly can. And it's okay if we get on him too a little bit because he's in the field. And I just love just the way that that turns out and those two color combinations. And you just keep going, guys, and adding. And I'm perfectly happy with that. So I'm just going to stop. You can open up the mossy meadow, and I am going to go in just a little bit in different areas to add just a little bit of depth and darkness, and then just kind of rub that all in and all over. And then I'm going to call that done for that. We're going to get our fern, and the way that I started this one is I don't dip the whole thing in the ink. I do maybe about that much to begin with, and I start over here in the corner and I stamp and then stamp off and then come up and stamp off, and then I just kept like lightly going a little bit higher, and then you can really go in, and then I'm going to stamp off there and bring that one in a little bit lighter, and then stamp off again and bring that one in, and you can just keep playing with it until you, and then down here you might want to make it just to be a little bit darker so it shows up, but I think that is totally fine. I think we're done with that too. So let's just cover these up because I always stick my finger in them, and then I'm going to grab my snips really quick. We're going to put our ribbon around here, but I'm going to let it dry just a little bit because it still just looks a tad bit wet to me. We're going to get the Island Indigo, bring it in so we can do our sentiment. And I forgot to mention that also in the Honeycomb Happiness we're going to use the Oh Hello, and that's for our sentiment. So I did it in the Island Indigo, stamp it up. Oh, I did it upside down, but hey, that works. Get our banner punch. And I always do it upside down so I can see. And just pop it out. Then I'm going to take the blue sponge and just go around the tag. And I really like my blue to show up, so I like to really bring it in on the tag. So that's how we'll do that. I'm going to go ahead and put the ribbon around the card, and you can just lay it on there and kind of eyeball. I always like leave it on there and bring it over to where I know I want to tie it, and then cut it. And then we did it over on one side. So, and you don't want your card to bend up, so you don't want to pull it too tight. And then just bring it through. And then that's when you can actually pull it a little bit tighter. And then I like to cut my little ends on the diagonal so it just looks really cute. Whoops, sorry about that, guys. Seems like I have to hit my camera one time during each video. I know you guys are just waiting for it, so I don't want to disappoint. And then we're going to put a Stampin' Dimensional on there. New pack's always hard to get one off. Put another one on there. Peel the back off. And I like to turn it a little bit on the side. We'll go ahead and put my snips up, grab my snail, and we'll go ahead and put this on our card base. I'm going to go ahead and score that first though. And I can't find my bone folder. Okay, can't find my bone folder, so we'll just do it old school with our fingers. Okay. I'm going to be on a mission after this video to find my bone folder. I just had it the other day when I was making my cards. So, line it up and put our snail on the back of the card. And then one down the middle. And you can use fast fuse too if you want to, because you have that little bit of ribbon on there if it makes you feel better. But I think our snail is pretty good. And there you go, guys. That is how easy that is to make that card. Put it all together. I just love this card. I just think it's super cute. And if you want to visit my blog to see the blog hop and see all the different cards, it's bobbystamps.blogspot.com. And please make sure that you hit subscribe and the like button if you like this video and you want to get notifications when I post different videos and I do giveaways. And don't forget that Celebration's coming to an end. I believe Friday is the last day for Celebration, or Thursday, I can't remember now. But there's a lot of information on my blog about that. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for stopping by.